Up front again, please. I think we're almost through most of it so far. All right, guys, I need everyone to look up here, turn away from their computers. Now, okay, even if you're not to this point yet, just watch, because you are gonna attach your different shapes and make them into one form. Now, I didn't do a great job here. I haven't like refined him very well, but you'll get the gist here, and then we can talk about how to fix him. Just as a reminder, if you have shapes that you can reuse, like I could draw this leg once, and then I could click on it and Control C, Control V, and paste it. Now, it does paste it in weird spots, but like I could essentially use some of the same shapes twice, right? I could even, sometimes I do this, I think Control F, Control C copies, Control F pastes it in the exact same place. That can be better than Control V even. I can just modify, like I copy, paste, modify, copy and paste. Oh, it just grabbed the line. Okay, copy and paste. It was because I was on the direct selection tool. There's like little weird things that happen sometimes. And look at, I can flip it. So I can stretch it. So I can like reuse shapes. That can be helpful. Okay. Oh, definitely with this little guy, I think that having this beard is really important. So I'm just going to quickly draw that in too. So I have all these overlapping shapes, and you really do need them to overlap. So if this method doesn't work for you, you might have to go in and have your shapes overlap. Like if your shapes are just like barely touching, this isn't going to work. So you might just have to go with your white arrow tool. If you've got this, if this happens, you might just need to go in and like double click on your path, double click on a path and like make it overlap, like move it over a little where they overlap. Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to blend them all together now. So watch up here, please. In order for this to work, so annoying in Illustrator, you have to select it first. So I'm just going to click on the arrow tool. Now that my background picture is locked, I can just click on the background and drag over everything. So click and drag to select it all. All right, so it's all selected. That is key. This won't work if you don't do that. Then you're going to go down to the shape builder tool. And the shape builder tool, watch the little demo. If you drag through it, it just connects all your shapes, but the shapes have to be overlapping. So it's this little, it looks like a cloud or two, a big circle and a little circle with an arrow. If you guys want to find that, it's like halfway down on the left side. And if you can't find it, I put it up here so you could like search for it. It's called Shape Builder Tool. So I just click and watch. I drag. I want to get it all, but they have to all be selected. That is the key. So it's going to combine all of these. So now he's one. Well, I might have missed one. Okay, or that. So I kind of have to go back. Oh, there's like little shapes that were created when I did that. Okay, so you might have some like little weird shapes that you can drag back over, but it has to be selected. Now I can really easily see this, you guys. So wait here. I'm going to go up and turn the black fill on. So this is my silhouette technically now. Oh, nope, I have to select it first. It's not. Go back to my arrow tool. If something's not working, go back to your arrow tool. I'm going to turn off the stroke now. So you can see I might need to modify this little shape. Look at, if I go to my layers, I can go down to the image layer and just turn it off. Okay, so now it's real obvious where I copied and pasted those legs, right? So I definitely want to refine this. So with this like this, it's hard for me to see through to the buffalo behind it. So this is where sometimes I'll go up to the top, you guys, and turn down the opacity of him. Watch this. So he's kind of see-through now. Do you see that? So I selected the shape with the arrow tool and I go up here to opacity. It's also over here as well, opacity. I filled him with black and I just took out the outline. So I need to modify this and make this look much better. So I've connected all these shapes. My next point is I could go in with my white arrow tool and I could go and start moving some anchor points around, you know, double clicking on them. But so that might help with the legs for sure. But one of the things that might really help is to actually go in and erase and refine some of these shapes completely. Like if it's going over a part or something like that. So I can move these around. That's what I would do to start. double clicking on the anchor points and just like shifting them a bit, moving them. And you guys, it doesn't have to be exact, but you do want to get a general feel for what this is. Oh, this is really bad. Like right here, I got to move this down, move these anchor points down. Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. So there might be things that you're like, oh, I need to adjust. You can adjust those. You can, I forgot to show you this, with the combine tool, you can take away as well. So we're going to do a silhouette, but when I do the silhouette, this was my pair tutorial from last hour. There might be things that you want to like make a shape that you could add on top of the silhouette. Like maybe you want to make, I think the white horn is going to be, to make this a black figure with maybe a cutout of the horn, or have the eye and maybe the nostril and the horn would make this look more like a buffalo. So those kind of things you might create with the shape tool or with the pencil tool. But watch guys, you can create, so everyone watching, you can create other shapes with this real easily. So if I make a circle and then I put a circle over it, I can join them together or I can subtract them. So with the shape builder tool, is everyone watching? I've got them selected. I go to the shape builder tool, and if I hold Alt, the plus turns to a minus, and then I can like erase parts. So I could like make a little crescent or something. So you can add on little shapes and make them that way. I might go in with a pencil tool, and I might like for this, maybe I would go in and just try to make the shape. But then I'd want to make sure it's kind of wonky. It's got a lot of anchor points. I could go to my arrow tool and I could smooth it, simplify it a little bit. And I wouldn't want to join this to the other thing because I want it to be a different color. So the thing is with the shapes, you want to be able to like change their color. So if this is the silhouette, it's still looking pretty terrible. I'm going to turn up the thing. Well, it's getting a little better, you know, but I do want to modify him a bit. But look, when I add that little horn in and a little nostril triangle and maybe an eye, it's going to look better. Okay, so the last part, and then I'm going to let you guys work to modify it even more. One of my favorite things for a solid shape is this eraser tool. So you guys can go in with an eraser. So everyone look up here. With an eraser, you can change the size of brushes in Illustrator. Like there's no thing at the top for this. Next to the P on your keyboard, there's brackets. So do you guys see on the right and left bracket will change the brush size. And what this does is it takes chunks out of this. So I could go like this and take that chunk away. Now it's going to sometimes leave a lot of little anchor points. So you might want to right click and simplify. I didn't even have to go to the arrow tool. I can simplify right from here, or you can right click, or you can go to the smoother tool that's under the pencil tool there and just smooth out a little area. So you might end up going with the eraser tool and erasing parts. It does weird things though. It's like you can cut a shape in half with the eraser tool and it divides it into two. If you do that, you can click on each part and move it around separately. You can, this used to not work and it did today during demo. I don't know why. The eraser tool used to not work on a line, but it does. So if you need to break a line, we're not really working in lines yet, but you can do single lines of detail on top. So get the silhouette just right by using the white arrow tool, by adding more shapes. Now I could look and be like, oh, this really needs another like little bit of shape on his beard, maybe a couple more triangles. You can go in and modify those and add them back to it. So he's one shape now, but I could add more shapes and overlap them onto him and then combine them together again. We want it to be smooth and precise. We want it to be, not super jagged. The buffalo was a much harder sell than this. The pear was much easier. Some of you are doing an animal head. So in the end, you guys, if you want to, like his head, I think looks way better than the rest of him right now. So if I wanted to just put his head on a circle, I could do the circle. Let's make it white so we can see it. I would have to send it to the back because I drew it after the fact. So I could go right. I could arrange, send it to the back. Now his head is there. Now, I didn't teach this last hour, but you could clip, like if I wanted to just get rid of that body because it's so bad, I could take this and I could cut his head out if I wanted to, or I could just select this and erase the rest of his body. Or maybe for one of them, I do this and I copy and paste him and keep him, you know, a full body from one of the other drawings. Because you guys, essentially, we're going to create this silhouette, then we're going to copy and paste it to do a second version. You can really quickly do a bunch of versions of a silhouette by copying and pasting and modifying it a little bit. We're going to copy and paste the silhouette and just turn the fill off and do outlines to do the contour line drawing and add to that too. So there's easy ways to modify things. Last thing so if I want to cut him out in a circle, if I send a circle to the back, I can also copy and paste that circle. Oh, copy and paste that circle. I'm always Control-Zing you guys because it does weird things sometimes. Put it right on top of him. This is called a clipping mask. Anything you want to like trim. If I put a circle or any shape on top of a drawing, and then I drag over everything to select it, I can right click and go to create clipping mask and look at it, clips it into there. So I had to put a circle on top and behind. So I could have done that just like this, put it on top of him, right click, create clipping mask, and then added a circle behind him again too. So I kind of like that. I was doing the pear and I was like, oh, I kind of like a symbol with a circle behind. So I made the pear white instead of black. And then I made a black circle. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like it with the pear going off the edge. You can really play with positive and negative space. Copy, paste, and I can just keep making lots of modifications of this. Oh. You can see when I start to copy and paste things fall apart a bit if they're all done on different. I think I could do that. I have that could be a symbol. You guys, I want to, before you are completely done, can you look up here? I'm sorry, I know that's a lot. If you do something and you want it to stick together, like in the end, if I have this horn on his head and it's placed in the right spot and I want to like copy and paste him and move him, if you select everything, I often like to group things together, just like a lot of programs do that. If you right click, you can go to group. It's right here. It's also Control G. Grouping him will make him move as one. So like when I placed this behind that, it was nice to just drag over it all and right click and group it. So when I move it, it doesn't all fall apart because that will happen. It will fall apart. So feel free, you guys, to add little accents to your black figure, but the first one you're doing has to be a black silhouette. Get that silhouette just right. You can use the little eraser brush, really tiny. You can use the direct selection tool to move anchor points around. You can add anchor points if you need some more things. I might actually do that to this beard. I feel like I need to add some anchor points so I can drag out some little like details on his beard. But add anchor points and I can just like double click on these. You might need to like zoom into things a lot too. Like I have to zoom way in to really see that. But if you've got a curved area and you need more detail, you can always add an anchor point to it and then take your white arrow tool and like modify it. Okay, I think that's enough. Your heads might explode if I go and show you anything else. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to come around and help you. Save often. That's important too. Press Control S if you haven't yet today, guys.